Hello, my name's Jez and welcome to this third and final video in my array series. We've looked at what an array is. We've also looked at indexing, how we can extract items from our lists and other methods of manipulating the data. But I wanted, for this third and final video, I wanted us to look at a very, very simple program that uses an array. So let's begin. Let me just share my screen like so, and here we go. Okay, so here is our array from before. It's a list of fruit. So I'm going to stick with this list of fruit, but I'm going to rename our variable called shopping list. I'm going to rename it to fruits. And what we're going to make a fruit machine, a very, very simple fruit machine. So we have our three fruits, apple, pears, and bananas, and we want to code a mechanism that basically mimics the pulling of our one-armed bandit. That we've got three wheels, and if we get three wheels of the same fruit, we win a prize. So how do we begin? Well, we begin with setting up our array of fruit. So this is like a database of all the options that each wheel can choose from. Okay, I'm going to create a bit of a loop, so while true loop. Okay, and I'm going to add in a little pause because, as you know, probably aware that when we use while true, the program could run away from us unless we incorporate a pause. So I'm just going to add in a little command, press enter to spin. Okay, press enter to spin. So what that will do, that will then prompt us to press enter every time we want to spin the wheels. Okay, and each wheel is going to be represented by a variable. So we're going to have wheel 1, wheel 2, and wheel 3, like so. Now, what I could do is I could assign these variables manually. So that one's apples. That one's apples again, like so. And the third one, yeah, that's apples as well. But if we did that, we know exactly what those values are going to be each time. They're going to be apples. We're going to win 3 of a kind every time we spin. So it's not very practical. What we're going to do is get Python to select randomly from our array. And in order to do that, we need to import the random module. So at the top of my program, I'm importing random, a bit like a library. So imagine a physical library in the real world. Each library has its own theme. So our library is to do with randomization. So we go into our library, and in the library, we have loads of books, don't we? And each book is to do with a different function associated with randomization. So we might take a book off the shelf that generates a random number between 1 and 100, for example. Another book where we take off the shelf and we look in, it might be to do selecting something random from an array, which is exactly what we need. So by importing this random module, it sort of like unlocks more functionality that we can then make good use of. So for our first wheel then, we want it to choose randomly from our list of fruit. Random dot. So that's telling Python what module we want to use. Okay, we've only imported one, but we could be using many others that we're importing in, maybe to do with time and date manipulation, for example. Possibilities are endless, but we need to specify what module we want to use, in this case, random, and what book we want to use off the shelf. We want to use choice. So Python will say, okay, you want me to make a choice, okay, but from where? And in the brackets, we specify the array we want it to choose from, in this case, fruits. So make a random choice from the fruits list whatever you choose from this array, assign it to wheel 1. Okay, because I'm lazy, I'm going to cut and paste for wheels 2 and 3 because it's the same thing. We're going to, for each wheel, we want it to choose randomly from our array of fruits. Okay, once we've done that, we can then print. We can print out each variable, can't we? So I'm going to print out wheel 1, wheel 2, and wheel 3. Whoop, like so. Okay, so if we run it, let's see what we get. Press enter to spin. Okay, press enter to spin. Press enter. We've got pears, bananas, pears. Okay, press enter to spin again. Notice that when it's finished running the code, it repeats back up to the top and starts running the same code again. In this case, because we incorporated a bit of a pause using input, it's pausing and waiting for us to press enter. It won't run any more code until we press that enter. In this case, we've got apples, bananas, pears. Bananas, apples, pears. See, I am the most unlucky person there is. Okay, notice that I'm having to manually check whether I've won something or not. Okay, so that's what I'm going to quickly add in. I'm going to quickly add in an automatic check to see whether we've got 3 of a kind or not, to save me manually checking. Okay, and the way we do that is we use an if. If we've got 3 of a kind, then we win something. Okay, so that's what I'm going to do next. I'm going to use if, and the condition we're going to use, the scenario we're checking for, is if wheel 1 equals wheel 2 equals wheel 3. Okay, so we're doing a check to see if all 3 wheels match. We could just do it for 2 of a kind. Maybe that's something you can think about. How would you code the scenario of a 2 of a kind? Maybe we win a little bit of money, maybe, or a little prize when we get 2 of a kind, but a bigger prize when we get 3 of a kind. In this case, it's 3 of a kind. So what happens when we got 3 of a kind? We'll just say, well done. We'll just print a little message to start with, called well done. Now when I run it, this is the hardest bit. There we go. Pears, apples, pears, pears, apples, 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 apples. Phew, that was lucky, wasn't it? So I've got 3 of a kind here. I've got 3 apples in a row, and it's triggered the well done message. Okay, so we could go on further. We could go on further to add in maybe lucky 7s, another item in the list. We can automatically, because of the way the program has been written, we can add in more items to our list, and it will automatically be incorporated into the game. Okay, but don't forget, the more items we add to the array, the less chance we have of getting 3 of a kind. It'll become more difficult to get 3 of a kind. So that's why we might want to code 2 of a kind, for example. Let's give it another go. So if I run, okay, press enter to spin, pears, pears, bananas, apples, pears, pears, apples, pears, apples. Okay, apples, apples, and lucky 7. So you can see that the lucky 7 now, that additional item in our array, is automatically being factored in. And that's where I wanted to leave it today, just to show you a simple program that uses an array and the sort of things we can do with it. In this case, build a very, very simple fruit machine. If you were looking for a challenge, like I said, try and code something that triggers a message for 2 of a kind, that triggers a message for 3 of a kind, and then triggers a massive congratulations when we get 3 lucky 7s for each wheel. Okay, so I hope this series of arrays and indexing has been useful. Give this challenge a go. Take care. Bye-bye.